Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to BioShock Infinite. You may notice I'm looking in a different direction than I believe where I ended. The game I left running, so it's a new day for me, and we were paused right about here, and because I left the game running for more than 12 hours, as it often happens in games, it locks up and you can't alt-tab back into it. It's not really something I can complain too much about in any game because I am not exiting. However, in that process, we have learned that the autosave, at least in this instance, worked perfectly fine. So loading back, I didn't have to replay any of the game. I am practically in the exact same position, maybe a foot or two in a different place. And storyline wise, we were fighting these guys and they were told to stand down and just let me in, I guess, so I can just walk in. You see, they're just dropping to their knees and praying to the prophet.
I know why you've come, false shepherd. I see every sin that blackens your soul.
Interesting voice effects.
The Pinkertons, the drink, the gambler, and of course, Anna. And now, to repay a debt, you've come from my land. But not all debts can be repaid, Booker.
You don't know me, pal.
Prophecy is my business, Mr. DeWitt. As blood is yours. You know why these men will die for me? Because I have seen their future in the glory. And hence they are content.
Kind of a demonic voice in the background.
Bring us the girl and wipe away the debt? This will end in blood, DeWitt. Then again, it always does with you, doesn't it? It always ends in blood.
Jesus.
So he either did something to cause my nose to bleed or something.
Head to the roof. Take that skyline to Monument Island.
So the interesting thing is the tattoo on his arm is an A, on his hand is an AD. That probably is Anna DeWitt. You might not have figured that out. I certainly didn't the first time I played the game. And you can see there's this giant, like, balloon there that the prophet, I assume, is on. And these guys just won't do anything to me at all. Interesting. You may have noticed that it said press F to pull the lever for a second there. That happens because if you get a prompt and then happen to bounce a mouse or keyboard button, it will think you've got switched automatically to that input and give the prompts to that input.
Go back to the sorrow from which you came.
The interesting, I don't like that system where it switches back and forth between inputs without any kind of question or anything. I'd prefer it just ignore the mouse and keyboard input. So this guy says he knows I was at Wounded Knee, and we've already seen that he was at Wounded Knee, so apparently we fought together at Wounded Knee, which, okay, somewhat believable, and I guess maybe I could pick up those guns for bullets. But he's literally, the prophet's just telling me to go away.
Go back.
Holy shit.
And see, he blew up this section and just attacked and blew up this section. So it's a strange twist of events that they have here where they stopped attacking to talk to me, and then they started attacking again. And I don't know what it really serves to have the story act that way. Honestly, it just seems inconsistent. You can see this body is falling over.
Gotta find the controls to take this thing to Monument Island.
So we're gonna fly this thing to Monument Island, which certainly that idea could have been expanded a lot more than it actually occurs in this game, where you actually control flying vehicles and go into different places. But slight spoiler to say that that does not happen. So here you have...
It's okay. I'm not gonna hurt you.
This lady praying, and she's praying to the prophet. Now, at this point, you probably should just figure that they're all crazy zealots and willing to die for the cause, and the right response would be to just pull the trigger.
And everything will be fine.
I can't kill her even if I wanted to. Point blank into the head.
Okay, I'm sure I can get this thing going.
The Lord forgives everything. And I'm just a prophet of it. So I don't have to. Amen.
Amen.
Jesus!
So she just kills herself, burns herself to death. And now we gotta escape the zeppelin. And we can't go that way. So, down to a rail. You see, we can jump from one section to a faster section, which might be helpful, but not really. Interesting, there's really nothing here, not even a bridge to connect to unless this disconnects and goes down, so why there's a police line, do not cross there, doesn't make the most amount of sense. This is where the boats would connect. Alright. We need our possession. I'm assuming that also things get cheaper when we possess robots, but without more salt upgraded, I can only do this twice, and I still don't even have the Devil Kiss aid. Can't even afford that. And honestly, I would prefer to get away from the Murder of Crows themselves, because it only has like 4 uses, where the Flames Kiss, the Fireball attack, has like 6. And let's see, I could do that by coming over this way, and I can't equip things I don't have. And it doesn't really make that much sense. Ooh, can I not even switch them? Seems like the game is saying I can't even switch them out. Oh, I have to hold this left bump button, switch it this way. Which means if I hold down this button, at some point on the right bump, I will get the opportunity to I'll get the opportunity to switch between maybe a few more guns, although not that many really in this game.
There it is. Monument Island.
Now, honestly,
I wonder why they got her locked up in this place.
here's that water fountain we saw before a couple times. There's really no point in this game that it feels like you're really struggling getting attacked by like dozens of enemies like you do in BioShock 1 and 2. The splicers and the big daddies combined made a very powerful 1-2 punch of enemies that had a tendency to run toward you, making it very dangerous, and the big daddies had an incredible amount of power behind them. And none of that so far, or at the very least, feels like anything like this. And how does one cross? It would be really silly to think that we're supposed to run back out this way. I mean, clearly that's the reason why the game has that area. Ah, up here. So you couldn't have made it past this point until you had the melee weapon, but let's remember we got the melee weapon at the very beginning of that 2-hour tutorial, and you had no other weapons at all before that point. See, the prophets shall sit on the throne and drown them in flames the mountains of men. So they have it in their mythology that they're going, this seed of the prophet, this lamb, which is not the Eleanor lamb that we see in BioShock 1 and 2, is going to destroy everybody that's not on Columbia. Here we can see there's a chair knocked over with some shoes and a statue. And here you can see Monument Island, best view of all Columbia, behold her glory. So there's a lot of that, but also Specimen is dangerous, and that's a different way to look at it, certainly.
I guess even in a restricted area, these crackers need someone to clean the floors. Those politicians and scientists don't bother about what they say around me, because I'm some half-leaded colored boy. But I can tell they scared out of their wits by that thing they got locked upstairs. Yes, sir. They got a dog about to tell, and they don't know whether to hang on or run.
So you have some pin-up things. Just for reference, the phrase cracker is a kind of insult to white people. I don't really think it really applies, and I don't think you'd find too many people upset being called it. It comes from the idea that white slave owners would crack the whip, so they wore crackers. And it took me an embarrassingly long amount of time to figure that out, because I certainly had heard the phrase, but often people don't want to discuss it, and frankly the internet didn't exist. Past this point, 12-hour quarantine. Do not approach the specimen. In general, I would say you probably shouldn't use the phrase, just in case, but I don't think very many people will be upset, but it's slightly risky. Whereas most other insulting phrases are completely risky, and you use them at your own peril. You have a machine spitting out flames.
What's this?
Alright. So, here you have some x-rays of really long fingers, but notice that the pinky finger is missing a bone on both of them. At age 1, she was, what, 34 inches or 80 centimeters. At age 5, she's 48 inches, which is about 4 feet. At age 11, she gets up to about 6'2". Really? At age 17? Is that? I'm having trouble reading it. Anyways, she grows up. But is that really even that big of a growth spurt? Without knowing the numbers, it's kind of hard to know. Like 170 centimeters. You divide that by 12 and you're talking... No. Yeah, I can't do the math in my head right now, but here's the crime board. Why that's in here, it makes no sense. So they're studying this, I assume, girl. I guess you might mistake that for male, but you're gonna find out here in a second it's a girl anyways, and I think they pretty much implied that, or said it straight out in the story. 72-hour quarantine approval by the chief scientist Lutice. Do not speak to the specimen. Here you have more sparks. Where are all the scientists though? Did they abandon this area? Are they hiding because of me? That's the question. And here we have transpose number 1, number 2, and number 3. What is this? A lever, a lever, and a lever. And it seems like you can just walk right through here. So let's hit this. Age 4 companion. I do believe that changed color. Yeah, it does. It changed color. Age 11 poetry book. And it's changing color. Siphon active. Age 13 Menarche. What is a Menarche? Is that a little flag? So they seem to change. These items do. But we've seen such crazy technology in this world and none of it seems to make any sense at all. Then, like, why even begin? And see, let's... No. If I do this, we know we're supposed to go that way, so we can check this place out with relative safety without going too far. The fact that there's been no established, like, science or reason in this world makes anything believable. Let's see, this looks like some kind of torture / dental station.
Mr. Thompson, sir, I replaced the entire fuse banker's ass, and the lights were all in working order last night. Last night? There they go again. We go through boxes of fuses every day as of late. Just in the siphon alone, I don't... something's happening. What?
So we have blood, hair, and fingernails all getting held onto. Another one of these charts. And the exact same thing used a second time. To prevent risk of exposure, only operate in rooms after soporific has been applied. Soporific is kind of a old-fashioned antibacterial type thing, type soap, something like that. So here we have a bunch of movies, which actually these movies get used sort of in the director's cut remaster of the BioShock 1 and 2, because we see some of this before. Let's see what we see. Lockpick attempt number something something. So the girl's trying to lockpick away specimen investigating codes, trying to escape. So this girl's getting very smart to try to gain her freedom. But here she's painting the Eiffel Tower. How she knows about the Eiffel Tower is a little bit of a question. I guess she's read it in a book or something. Specimen singing. We have no audio here, so we're kind of looking at really bad resolution. Projections, specimen dancing. It seems so strange they would go from the lamb, the seed of the prophet, to the specimen. Just don't think you would make that quick of a jump in your mentality. I think everywhere it would say the lamb, the prophet, the seed of the prophet. Here they have pictures of her.
They've been watching her.
Music is playing. There's a little bit of some Easter eggs in the music playing. So if you want to listen to them yourself when playing this game, I would say that's fine. But you'd have to actually be pretty familiar with modern day music. And we're back to a quiet section, just like nobody attacking me. Specimen aged, the Minarch facility unsafe.
It is one thing to imagine one's future, and another to see it. I have seen the seeds of fire that will prepare the Sodom below for the coming of the Lord. But Elizabeth shall sow those seeds, not I. I will fall before the job is done. But she shall take up my mantle. The Lord is calling me home. I feel his love in every tumor, because they are the train which takes me to his station.
So,
and I go with joy, knowing that Elizabeth will take my earthly place. But the false shepherd is coming to lead my lamb astray. I will not board that train until she is safe from his deceptions.
So Zachary, the prophet here, is dying. Siphon is dangerous when leaching the specimen, and you have these like reverse speakers that are sucking in sound. It looks like. And I found an upgrade. Good thing I found that one. Although it doesn't really matter. I have so many extras. It is very possible I'll miss a few. Do not touch the specimen under any circumstances. 160 out quarantine requires approval by the prophet to go this far. And we can just hit the button. Notice how in all the BioShock games they never just push a button like a normal person. They always slam their hands on it. Nice looking elevator, kind of dim. Nothing really here. You almost get the feeling like you would just have been attacked right there. But nope. Instead, we open this. And we can absorb her. And see some slight reflections on the window. Here's her codes. Notice we're not in gun mode. I can't use my left or right trigger or any of those weapons. We're in a full cutscene mode. Here we can see her in her bedroom. They give her no privacy. Maybe there's a bathroom in the corner there that they're not spying on, but one would assume that these are activate the
dressing room. That's where we need to go.
Tracking the dressing room. I can't even go back. You can see there's sort of a shiny rust on the metal, but that really doesn't play any part of the story. There's nothing to pick up, nothing to find. This is just like the beginning of the game, and we haven't been playing the game long enough for us to already be in another like story sequence like this. Quiet while specimen is present, so they don't get hurt. And you can see there's a camera film.
That's her.
And you can see barely that she has a thimble on her pinky, which is missing a finger, or a piece of her pinky finger. And how are they tracking her, I wonder? This door won't open until she's now in the dining room. Are we really learning anything here? Not really. Just kind of just having this falling action when we really haven't even done any action. Part of this is because I took a break and there hasn't been any fighting since then, but there really hasn't been that much fighting anyway since the beginning of the game. So this is the drawing room. And this is our painting.
Whoa!
And she's opened a portal to another dimension.
Whatever that was. It's got nothing to do with the job at hand.
Yeah. Someone having the ability to open portals to other dimensions has nothing to do with the anything. Sure. Booker is not the brightest tool in the shed. The sharpest tool in the shed is the right way to say that. Brightest bulb in the drawer would be another phrase. So you have to assume that either she doesn't want to actually leave this area, or she just right then gained the ability to open portals, or for some reason she can't walk through the portals herself. Otherwise, she wouldn't be trapped in this facility, would she?
This job's getting worse all the time.
In fact, even the action of opening the portal broke the glass, which, since she knows that there's a door that she's trying to pick a lock on, she could just open portals next to that door and probably break the door.
What makes the girl different? I suspect it has less to do with what she is, and rather more with what she is not. A small part of her remains from where she came. It would seem the universe does not like its peas mixed with its porridge.
So you're told straight out she's from a different universe. You've seen she has the ability to open portals to a different universe and at least see through them, if not traveled through them. And she's in the library. And frankly, you would get a lot better story and a lot more subtle explanations of things in BioShock 1 or 2. And it's so strange because BioShock 1 is made by Ken Levine, and this is Ken Levine later. I just don't think he really wanted to make another BioShock. He certainly didn't want to make BioShock 2 and didn't. I think he just kind of got forced by being bought out by a bigger company into continuing down that path. Now, as far as we know, Booker is not afraid of heights, because if he was, he would have been screaming in sheer terror every time we skyhooked. So, we're just walking on the outside of the statue, which clearly this statue would be apparent from the edges. People with the telescopes would have been able to see the stairs and this door. There's really no reason why this should be outside. No reason at all. If there was like a connecting path where the Prophet's blimp connected and he walked up to this point, maybe then that would make sense. But otherwise it's just sheer ridiculousness as far as architectural design. And there's more of this. So either they let her out at times to take out blood, hair, and nails, or they drug her and she doesn't remember that. You can see just black sky there. I'm afraid something's going to happen here. Or maybe they just continuously made this facility deeper and deeper to keep people away from it. So that is a possibility, but then the architecture again doesn't really agree with that. Like, you would have to assume that everything except for the first section where we saw that room with the blood, hair, and nails was originally where she was supposed to be, and then they added floors and added the monument. And boy, that seems lucky that it would just break. She was holding the Odyssey, by the way, which might be a reference, but
Who are you?
really isn't that
My name
smart.
is DeWitt. I'm a friend. I come to get you out of
Get
here.
away.
What does that one say? The principles of something?
Are you real?
I'm real enough.
Now you see the pinky finger again.
He's coming. You've got to go.
Why?
You don't want to be here when he gets here. Just a minute, I'm getting dressed.
Get you out of here.
There's no way out. Trust me, I've looked. Stop it, you're too impatient. That's enough.
What about this?
What about it?
This is the way out, isn't it?
What are you... Give it to me.
And see, did I get that key at the very beginning of the game, or did I find that inside the crows area? So apparently they will let you in, let her out every now and then.
Come on, this way. It's his job to keep me locked up in here.
We'll see about that.
So we are now still in cutscene mode.
Who are you? Why did you come here?
She clearly hasn't been down this path before, so she doesn't know where she's going. If she had been down this path, she would know that they were spying on her. And you'll see in a second that she clearly didn't know that.
Hurry!
So here comes my gun. And I started running and the game held me back.
What?
Press the button!
What is all this? They were watching me? All this time? Why? Why did they put me in here? What am I? What am I?
I don't know any of
Girl
this.
who's getting out of this tower.
Let's see, should I even waste any bullets on this? Not really.
This way.
I don't know how she made that distance.
Be careful, Elizabeth.
How do you know my name?
Not now.
Hurry! There's a door up here.
So her name's Elizabeth, not Anna DeWitt. Just to keep the names of the girls separate.
Which way?
You could almost think that the AD stood for after death, as in a Christian religious reference to like the end of times or something, but it doesn't really make that much sense. And see, you really can't even fall in this world. Not without intentionally causing it or really messing up. Or again, in the cutscene, no control. You can see the Monument Island just falling apart completely. Honestly, you might as well have just started the game right here. Like, get rid of the tutorial, get rid of the setup, maybe have a flashback to sections like that. Yep, now she's falling. And so am I. But... and now this bird... the pressure breaks his eye. So maybe that's what happens to the Raven people.
Mr. DeWitt! Mr. DeWitt! Free us the girl and wipe away the dead!
And so we get these weird
Are you in there, DeWitt?
hallucinations.
What do you want with her?
We had a deal, DeWitt!
Tell me what you want with her.
Open this door right now!
Are you going to hurt her? Tell me what you want!
7th Cavalry, wounded knee. And see, we have her singing, and you can't really do anything, so you gotta open the door again.
Anna? Anna?
And he's saying Anna, not Elizabeth. And you probably see a picture of Anna right there on the left in the background. It's kind of a disjointed way.
Anna.
No, it's me, Elizabeth. You all right?
Where am I?
Back in the land of the living. Here, let me.
I'll be fine.
You almost drowned. You need to...
I said I'm fine. Just
Second time he's almost drowned in this game too, by the way. Remember that happened at the beginning.
It's music.
go on. I just need to...
Go
I
on.
won't be long. I won't be long, Mr. Jordan.
Seriously? You have no idea where she is, you're just telling her to run around with no protection?
Where is she?
And then she's gone, and you can see my health is pretty low right now. So, I landed in basically Columbia's fake ocean.
Cold.
Come on, don't be such a crybaby.
And look, they're wearing
Fine. 2 more minutes.
slightly revealing for the time bathing suits. Slightly scandalous by what were actual standards. In fact, this little box there is how women would actually change into full...
Hey, I'm looking for a young girl, wearing a white blouse, brown hair, blue eyes.
So apparently nobody knows what Elizabeth looks like. So women would get into full coverage, long sleeve, long leg, ridiculously overclothed bathing suits in these changing carriages, and then pay somebody to run it right up to the shoreline, and then jump in the water so that nobody would see them, because they were so obsessed with modesty. So, I really would have preferred if you had just kind of woken up like you did in BioShock 1, near Elizabeth, seen that facility, started right at Monument Island probably, and found this girl, decided you needed to save the girl for no real reason, and then we'll just take the money from these kids who are short sleeve, short legs swimsuits. That's actually quite immodest for the time. So they're inconsistent.
Skirt. No?
No.
Very
I'm
inconsistent.
without an escort if you're looking to pass the time.
Wow. Talk about immodesty. This guy's hanging out with two girls.
Hey, you see a young girl?
Is this some kind of sales pitch? Because I'm not interested.
You can see some seagulls. We are still 1,500 feet or so above the surface, so all kinds of pressure. Doesn't seem like there's actually any fish or anything in this water, this fake beach. The strength through leisure idea.
Hey, I'm looking for a young girl.
Who isn't, brother?
And I can't jump over this fence. Columbia boards,
Fella seen a
surfboards.
girl around here? Blue skirt, dark hair.
Look at this one. Why don't you just sleep it off, chum?
So here's two guys. And some peanuts to get some health. I suppose we are trying to get our health back.
The prophet may know how his own biography is going to end, but I can scarcely fathom how I'm going to start it. I mean, other than the kid stuff you get at the Hall of Heroes, anything prior to his baptism was, and here I quote, hang on, left on the riverside. They'll call me a plagiarist, but I'm going to spend the first 30 pages regurgitating scripture.
Interesting. Okay. Remember in BioShock 2 there was a Hall of Heroes too that we ran through, and we don't really, I think, see it in this game. Like, entire concepts in this game seem slightly missing or intentionally left out. Whereas other concepts like this area where we are
That could be our ticket out of here.
again in a quiet pace. It's been 44 minutes, and our only action has been a cutscene. We pick up some ammo sitting on a baby carriage, which is kind of a reference to the very beginning of BioShock 1, because you do find a gun, I believe, in a baby carriage. But we have Battleship Bay here. It just seems like it's old as a worse version of BioShock. Like, a major issue here is definitely that I enjoyed and was enthralled with BioShock 1. And enjoyed more than most in BioShock 2. And by the time this one came out, because it was slightly delayed and it was so different, I really didn't have that much fun with it. I didn't hate it. I certainly enjoyed it, but it is a pale imitator of the original.
The whole thing's rigged. All I want is fair pay for an honest day's work.
And here you can see this guy's Irish, and Irish people were discriminated against a lot too in that day and age. So not as badly as Africans and African Americans, but I guess technically you can't call a slave an African American because they weren't considered citizens by any means at all. So you would have to call them Africans if they were considered only property. Just on a technicality level. And see, if I could have just swum a little bit more, I could have gone through the water and gone right here, which, spoiler alert, she is dancing up there. But there's no real risk.
Mother always gets a say. I'm my own man.
So we're just gonna listen to people talking again.
This is the life.
I miss real beaches.
On real beaches, you've got to contend with all types of people sharing the water. Those people are not sanitary.
That's silly.
They get diseases you couldn't imagine. You don't believe me? Take a trip to Finkton.
So Finkton is kind of the area where the discriminated against people are. And see, somebody spent some real effort on dialogue writing and animating people and lying down positions that you usually don't see of 3D characters. And now I'm drunk, drinking alcohol behind the wardrobes. I suppose nobody here is messed up with the rally anymore.
Maybe you and I should go for a walk along the shore.
I'm not going on any walk with you. Your reputation is well established.
So we kind of want to get all of the dialogue here. And until somebody decides that they're mad at me again, I guess I'm just a normal everyday citizen. Capable of picking up salt, and I can... And if I can get the cursor on top of it. My gun is down.
Look at him, ladies. It's a crime someone doesn't get him a nice set of trunks.
But look at their faces. It's more than likely the exact same face on all three of them. So while there was some money spent positioning 3D models here and writing dialogue for them, a few lines of dialogue at least, they didn't spend the money or the time making people look different.
You know, I know a fella who can, shall we say, take care of this.
Wilma!
Well, it's that or the shame on your family. You're damned if you do and damned if you don't, I suppose.
So they're talking about killing his brother. Or something else. Maybe getting an abortion. It's hard to tell. Probably an abortion. Unwanted pregnancy. Like every single one of them. Alcohol gives you health but damages your salts. Drinking when your health is full gives you no benefits. Thanks for the tutorial message.
All right now. You're strong. Pretend you're Hercules. Right, that's great. All right, miss. Now put your hand a bit higher on the back of his leg. No? All right. It's fine where it is.
Come on, is this gonna take all day?
It's so hot.
Does anybody have a handkerchief? This cold's gonna end me.
Getting sand everywhere.
Everywhere? I don't just do novelty shots, you know. I'm 90% certain that a gallery in the Emporia is going to feature my work. 90%.
So you're listening to two different dialogues here. You got people exercising over here and them taking
no panhandling, fella.
photos.
Did you see the signs?
I don't love her anymore.
It amazes me how many men I've met haven't the slightest idea who they really are.
So, yeah. This looks like blood, though. And that's kind of the weirdness, is that there'd just be blood in the middle of all this. Let's get that soda pop for salt. You can get way up here and look at this, but you're actually highly unlikely to look up and see this. You can see up there, there's an arcade and such that we'll deal with later. This guy's in a full suit. It's a little bit out of place. These balls don't move.
Tell my wife is scared, but I don't know how to comfort her.
Comstock will take care of the fox. If he says he has a plan, then he has a plan. When has he ever let us down before?
This is interesting, that the fact that these guys are half in the shade and half in the sun. They're going to get a very odd suntan if they do that.
That's what the Vox Populi do. Stir up the paddies and the Negroes.
Versus labor unrest, then they're coming for you in your bed.
Comstock should stomp them out. All of them cockroaches.
And see, I don't have the fullest of certainty that Comstock isn't using these racist feelings amongst people at the time to control them, or if he truly believes it. And you really don't get a full understanding here. I've noticed there's a few models where they've actually intentionally had girls and guys and girls touch each other. You can see her hand is clipping at times through her neck. But clearly this is supposed to be a lesbian couple. There was two guy couples over there that you're supposed to take some implications here of things that would not be even admitted by themselves as possibilities.
I suppose one little walk couldn't hurt.
You won't regret it.
You're naughty.
So yeah, there's all kind of naughtiness going around everywhere in this place. That was one of the things that when the United States had legalized gay marriage, is the vast number of really, really old people coming out and as gay, because and talking about how when they were young in their youth they didn't even think that of the word gay. They didn't even know what it meant. Or homosexual. They would say gay as in happy. And so it took decades and decades for them to even realize it themselves. Alright, so now it's time to ruin all of this. Can't go any further until we do.
Hey, miss.
So let's dance. Nate, when you get this close, it switches to her.
Miss.
And you know what? The best response would be just leave her alone. Just let her dance. Just walk away. Find a seat. Wait till she gets tired. Wave hello when she walks off this pier. You sit right down here enjoy the sun, enjoy life. Maybe not sit right next to right in front of these people, sit right next to them, make some friends. But no, I have to go stop her dancing, stop her having fun. I have to make this video game played. And the music may get me a content ID, but so I better stop it.
Hey, Miss Elizabeth.
Hello. Oh, this is wonderful. Well, come dance with me, Mr. DeWitt.
I don't dance. Come on, let's go.
Press X to get her attention. That's like press X to pay respects.
How about Paris?
Paris? I don't understand. How could we get there?
That's where that airship's going, but if you want to stay and dance, we can...
No, let's go. Come on, let's go. Come on, let's go right now.
And so the first conversation he even has with her, he basically lies to her and says he's gonna take her to Paris.
I've never smelled anything like that before, have you?
You can see that people have changed their actions a little bit. Entrance, no exit. You don't need to protect Elizabeth, she can handle herself. Good to know. Honestly, probably a mistake.
Mr. DeWitt, Comstock. I've read about him. They say he can see the future.
So she's never even met him?
He falls in all kinds of love with himself.
I don't like his look.
Do you dislike the look of the prophet or his gaze?
Can we leave now?
So the Columbia dolls. Let's see. So any area that points the opposite, we should go and look.
Almost looks like blue ocean. It's just a set of elaborate pumps and rain features.
Almost here.
Seems like we're fairly well healed, Mr. DeWitt.
Give me that wallet.
Fall into the water did you no favors. I'll keep an eye out for something that might ease your pain.
So, one of the weirdest things about this game is that she'll start throwing things to you. Like, she'll give you bullets when you need bullets. She'll give you health when you need health. Not a guaranteed return or anything. Not enough that you could play fast and loose with the game and always be certain that you'll survive. This almost looks like a secret door, but I think it's probably just bad lighting. But every now and then, she'll toss you a thing, and they make a big deal about it, like it's the most amazing concept of video games ever, and it really isn't. It wasn't really that impressive even at the beginning. And you can see this guy is eating his dinner with a doll. That's creepy. Creepy. Seems like all of these people are kind of a little bit more whacked out than you would expect. And part of this, I think, is that they're just trying to slander old white people in the 1800s, and then it's kind of a silly thing to do. It's like, yes, they were incredibly racist by 2017 standards. Yes, they were very puritanical and reactionary and closed-minded. Do we really need to slander them even more and say they were also crazy and so here's one of the musical things that we're hearing right now that's a hint. This is this Calliope
Or the cage.
music.
Or perhaps the bird.
Nothing beats the cage.
He's to it. How do...
Lutrice.
Never mind.
So she can pick one if you want. But what was playing on the Calliope music for a second there was Girls Just Want to Have Fun by Madonna. So we have to get her attention again. Press X to get attention.
Look at these, they're amazing. Which one do you like more, this one or this? The bird is beautiful and the cage is somber, but there's really something special about it. I just can't decide.
So, do you want her to be free, or do you want to give her, put her back in the cage?
Well,
I would by default take the bird, but let's do something different and do the cage.
The one on the left.
Are you sure?
I'm sure.
It doesn't matter one bit, but it does change the necklace.
If you're going to be a sore loser, then I shan't do this again.
Oh my god.
My God.
It has to be. Who else would do
Look.
such a thing?
Are you all right?
How could this happen?
Hold the look.
Why didn't the prophet
We should get out of here.
Let's go.
So she's gonna wear this necklace for the rest of the game. And so now they're all freaking out about the monument statue crashing down. They're gonna probably assume it's the Vox Populi since they blame all it on the Vox Populi, which is the working class. Here we see a kid's leg clipping through the back again. Nice attempts, but they fail. See, everybody goes quiet. And see, they know about the songbird, which is the creature that attacked us. And it wants me to go that way, so...
What I want to know is, why is there never a handyman around when you need one?
Handyman.
Test his abilities.
See, as we get closer and closer to people, they'll talk. A lot of doors closed, a lot of sections. Now the thing is, the problem here is when I don't have the gun out, I don't have a cursor reticle on the screen, so picking up items is a little bit difficult. Here we have the police.
Photographic identification ready for presentation.
Put those arms up now. Fingers apart. Legs apart. Stand still. Now hold steady.
So they're getting to the arcade.
I have just the thing. Come on.
You see tickets, but no. Can't just jump through there.
Come on.
And see, the police are searching everybody.
Did you hear about this statue? My God, what's happening?
Hey, cop! Look at this one. He's suspicious, if you ask me.
All right, quiet down there, Pete.
So this door has a lock on it. Do we have any lockpicks? No, we are at 0. And to open the door,
Damn thing's locked.
I can't open it.
What are you doing?
You're a roguish type. What does it look like? Done.
So
you learned to pick locks.
Trapped in a tower with nothing but books and spare time? You would be surprised what I know how to do.
So what's interesting is this is supposed to be like the side entrance for the servants, and yet it's quite nicer than it really would be. You wouldn't have carpets and like good hardwood. Do not speak to the patrons unless spoken first. That one doesn't count as locked, but that's how we're gonna say it. Always address patrons as sir and madam. And this is probably some kind of clock-in point if they're paid at all, I assume. Yeah, I'm not sure if they went full slavery here. More indentured servitude or just exploitative work.
I must take any task with more than the slightest complexity, or they simply leave it in ruins for me to clean up later. Oh, hello, sir. Don't you pay me no never mind? Just some foolishness, you know. Just monkey shine.
Ew. I'm never gonna hear the phrase monkey shine again and think the same way about it.
Hey, I found these silver eagles. There's a vending device over there.
Catch the coin.
Bring you back to health.
It's probably a good idea.
Did I get tails or heads? Then I just got tails. Remember the game before asked us heads or tails, and I can't control this one, so I could buy things, but there's really nothing to buy. And we have more to see. And this is the type of floors I expect to see for Servant's Passage. And that was very much an hour and 5 minutes of no actual gameplay yet again. Amazing. Amazing how little gameplay is in this first part of the game. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.